gunpowder means more bang bang, right? So he had 2 Uzis with full loads shooting at us from about the distance you and I are apart right now. But there's no bullets in them, they're just blanks. They go boom, but nothing comes out. But the noise comes out. This was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life, and it's echoing off the brick in these tunnels, and he's got 2 of them at the same time shooting at us. And I had earplugs in, and I pretended to take a hit and fall down, and he's still shooting. And I was like, I'm supposed to be dead on the ground, and I had to cover my ears. I was like, oh my God, I cannot handle the noise coming out of those guns. So that's the only time noise has bothered me on a set. But I felt like my ears were gonna get damaged from the noise coming out of these guns.
Yeah.
That's the only time it's bothered me.
I think coming back to being scared on set with Five Nights, I know that when we were in the costume, we couldn't see anything. So I definitely know that I've freaked out a few.
Like claustrophobic wise?
No, the crew. Because I can't see anybody, so I'm just walking, and then a crew member turns the corner, and there I am, and they're like, oh my God.
Oh. Scaring other people.
Yeah. For sure.
I saw a little man in the back there. I saw your hand first.
Come on up here, little man in the back.
Come on, glam rock.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
I haven't played that one, but I do know about that.
Mom, is that mom? Are you mom? You gotta let him walk up here when he
In front of the
Yes,
camera?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him see.
The home audience has to see him.
Yeah.
After he asks his question, let him ask his question.
We have audience cam.
Oh, that,
Oh.
snap! We are high-tech redneck. You hear me?
Does it feel comfortable in the suit?
Was it comfortable in the suit? Is that what it's never comfortable in a creature costume.
This one, it wasn't too bad.
It
It was
wasn't
made out of
bad.
foam. The only thing that was really hard was the heads. The heads were about 17. Was it 17 or 19?
17 pounds.
17 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's resting on our head, so there's a lot of pressure on our neck. So that was the most uncomfortable part. And then sitting, too.
Sitting was hard.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Next, saw your hand.
I know you said you didn't play any of the games, but have you read any of the novels?
Yeah. Was the question directed to me? Oh, okay. Yeah, Kevin has. So the games, I don't do well with jump scare games. So I tried to play it through the controller. I was like, I can't do this. It was like my nerves were shot. So I started watching a bunch of the YouTubers play it to get an understanding of it, and then also reading a bunch of the lore and a lot of the. I did a lot of time on Reddit. Yeah.
I started playing the game right when I got the job, December of 22. My son and I started playing the game together.
But you also made a home version.
I did. So, did you guys know Piggy, the Roblox game? So, a while ago, I started making a live-action version of Piggy for my kids around the house. I would make it becomes kind of like an escape room, except Piggy's trying to kill you at the same time. So I would put clues everywhere, and you gotta get into my car to get the clicker to open the garage to get to the backyard, and then you gotta the gate is tied with this string, so you gotta find the lighter to burn the string off so do this whole Piggy course, and the whole time I'm walking around with this baseball bat going. So I kind of did the same thing for Five Nights at Freddy's, where I put security cameras in the house, and I have my son and his friend in the office, and instead, because you can't, the power element, like the power draining, is very hard to do in real life, so we made the rule that there's 2 doors to the office, so you can only have 1 door closed at a time. You got to look at the cameras to see where I am, because I was Freddy, and I look at the cameras and they were me. And so my son was on the monitors watching where I am, and his friend was in charge of which door to close at a time. And so we got about a minute and a half into that, and my son's friend pulled the plug. He goes, I can't do this. Can't do it. Too scared. Can't. And,
It's
yeah,
anxiety.
it's
I
really,
can't do it.
really anxious. You know, opening a door, not knowing if I'm going to be standing there ready to kill you. But I started playing the first game. I am stuck on night 5. I have not beaten night 5. And that's where I played the VR game once.
Oh, yeah.
And I screamed. I literally screamed when I walked by. Like, it was really weird. My wife was carrying groceries into the house. She was coming in the front door, and she hears me scream. She's like, what the heck is going on in here? I'm like, it's Freddy! Ah! And I haven't played since.
Yeah, I am not even going to attempt the VR.
Yeah, you should.
I would be in like the fetal
You
position
should.
on the ground crying.
But all you kids should put the headset on your dads and moms and make them play once, because video it and put it on YouTube, because it's going to be hilarious.
I think the next panel opportunity that we have with these two, we get a VR headset
Oh, man.
and we make this happen.
Oh.
Kevin, that's Kevin. Kevin will do it. I'll do
No, we'll
commentary.
pull volunteers from the
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
kids
we
will
just
volunteer.
win
No,
this.
I'll do the commentary.
Do you two have a favorite animatronic from Fnaf 1?
Mine's the cupcake. Hands down the cupcake, Carl. I love him. I would hang out with him on set, carry him around.
Yeah. Carl is your puppy.
Yeah, my cupcake.
Your puppy. I don't know why, but I dig Foxy.
Foxy
Like,
was really cool.
in the game, Foxy's my nemesis. Foxy always kills me, so I have to, like, if I go into the cameras now, I make sure that I'm looking left in the game, because that's where Foxy's coming from. Because if I'm looking right, and I see Foxy coming, I can't work my hands quick enough to close the door on the left, so I need to be looking that way. So I should hate Foxy, but for some reason, he's my favorite.
But he looks so good.
Yeah.
The animatronic Foxy on set looked so
Yes.
good. They did an amazing job.
Were you guys there on the day that Foxy caught on fire on the set?
Well, Foxy didn't quite catch on fire. There was just some smoke. So it wasn't. It was like with any mechanical part, you know, it might get worn down a little bit, and a little smoke came out. That's all.
I didn't know that happens.
Do you have a favorite actor you've ever made a movie with?
Well, okay, so Robert Downey's great. A lot of good ones. I gotta say, even though he's not an actor, I think my favorite is Dave Grohl, the lead singer of the Foo Fighters.
I constantly forget that you don't.
Yeah, I was his stunt double on Studio 666 in 2020. And I tell you what, his reputation, for those of you who know, his reputation is 100% true. He is as down to earth, as nice a guy as you will ever meet, rock star or not. Like, he first conversation we had, it was our first day back from COVID, right? So the movie stopped for COVID, and then we came back in August of 2020, and I saw him sitting there, and I introduced myself. I said, Dave, I am your stunt double. He goes, oh, and we had a conversation, and it was really about, like, what was your COVID experience? What was your COVID experience? It was like, this is weird, right? That we're back here. And they were supposed to go on tour. And they tour, their crew for a tour is about 125 people. And 75 of them are people who are like part of their family, like they're with them all the time. So he was like, I had 75 people to take care of during COVID. So they didn't just take, he's got 4 kids and a wife. He wasn't just taking care of them, he was taking care of 75 people who were out of work because of COVID. Yeah, his rep is 100% legit.
This little
Right, yeah.
panel member up here, please.
Did you audition for these characters?
Oh, that's
It's
a
a
good
really
question.
good question.
That's a really, really good question. So the way it works with stunt performers is that you don't technically audition. The stunt coordinator knows you, and knows your body of work, what you've done, and then he finds the performer that he feels will best suit that role. And so we got contacted by the stunt coordinator, Andy Dillon, to do these roles. And so, I guess technically you kind of...
Sometimes you audition,
Yeah.
but for this one, it was a phone call. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, I got this movie, Five Nights at Freddy's. I think it's a video game. We start in January. That was the call. And
Yeah.
I go, okay, great, let's do it.
Imagine that. Hey, real quick, I see a bunch of hands, so let's. This is great. It's awesome. If you guys would, y'all go to the middle row right here, and that way we can just go down the line. If you've got a question, go ahead. That way we know how many people we have that want to ask a question. That way
To ask his questions.
you know.
Thank you, Uncle.
By the way, Harley Quinn, you look great.
Let him go.
Harley Quinn, did you?
Man, this is what it's about, y'all. Look at all these people out here gonna ask a question, man. That's what's up.
Hi, how you doing?
Because I got a picture of it. And so I think we should I wondered if you got.
Did you think you were gonna get spring locked in?
There was actually not spring locks built into our suits.
Like the thought of it having been sabotaged.
Here's how ignorant I am. I didn't know spring locks existed when I was wearing the suit. I learned about it like through the course of the movie, and then seeing, the scene with Matt, I was like, oh, that's what spring locks are. Like, that's how little I knew about this.
Exactly. Very terrifying.
Thank you for your question.
I loved the scene where Mike meets the animatronics for the first time. I really enjoyed it. It was really tough because I had to I kind of beeline for me, that was the most acting I got to do because Freddie had an attitude towards Mike. He didn't trust him, and he showed it, and he's not hiding it. So I really enjoyed it for that. But when Abby comes up and hugs me, and then I go, okay, Mike's cool, and I turn, I was basically in second position, like dance position. My toes totally turned out. Trying to balance in that position for like a minute was incredibly painful. But I did enjoy that scene the most because I got to do some acting that wasn't present in the rest of the movie.
I think mine was when I brought Abby back to the parts room and I was going to make her animatronic. That to me was a lot of fun.
What, could you ask again?
Did you play any of the other games?
I'll play any of the other games.
I've played 4. 4s. Have you played 4? It's super scary, and I hope they make a movie of that game because it's a different level of scary.
Is that foreshadowing? Yeah.
Okay, so in that movie, where Bonnie falls off the roller making, yeah,
The
how
fourth.
many times did that if it were me, I would not be able to take straight days at all.
So that scene, we didn't do very many takes of that, and we'll tell you why. What you don't see is that I am on my knees and hands, and Foxy is standing on my back. And that was the weight of the head, 17 pounds, pulling on my neck was very painful. So that's why we didn't have very many takes of it. But Kevin,
You remember when Bonnie fell over?
Yeah.
He was standing on my back. That's what he was falling off of. And so the same thing, I was on hands and knees, holding that head up, so my neck muscles were getting really, really sore quickly. And that was also the most painful scene for Jade, who played Bonnie, because he was even though he's falling on a pad, when you're in that giant head, it doesn't feel good to fall down on it. Yeah, that was, and so when we saw the movie on the very first day, Jade and I were in the movie theater sitting next to each other. And when we saw how they put that scene together, we cringed because, not that they did it badly, but the most painful part of the movie that we did not end up in the movie. So we're a little disappointed.
And that
in
that does happen a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you'll do
It's normal.
Yeah, you'll do a stunt or something. But yeah, that looked great. And then the movie comes out or the TV show, and you're like, wait, what happened? Where is it?
I have a question. How did it feel whenever you fall down on the stage?
Oh, that's a good question. So we rehearsed that. So we practiced it on pads, and it was okay. But then in the movie, when Freddie and Bonnie fall down because they get electrocuted, that was the puppets. They were going to shoot it with the puppets and then bring me and Jade in to do it. But they liked how it looked so much with the puppets that they said, we don't need Kevin and Jade to do it. So we didn't have to do it. So it was great.
Oh yeah, I have a question. Whenever I was watching it, I noticed that there was still a little bit of water before he splashed it on the water style.
Really?
Oh,
I did not notice
here.
that. This is something I'm
We'll
going to have to
watch
look
that,
for. Yeah, I didn't notice that.
You guys move up a little bit. We got this camera, it can see y'all up here, people. Now I can see you even better. That's right.
Harley Quinn, yeah?
No, Chica.
Chica. Chica.
It's Chica.
Okay.
It's Chica.
I don't know. I'm getting vibes of Harley Quinn.
She's got vanilla. It's Chica.
Okay.
Did you guys meet Scott Cawthon? He did what was he like?
Scott was amazing. He was so nice. And it was just, he was excited to be there and share his, just his story with us. And like, he was there the entire time he was filming, which was very impressive for me. Because if you're not used to filmmaking, it's long hours. We're talking 12 minimum, and possibly 16 hours a day. You're starting super early, going super late. And he was there the entire time.
And his whole concern, he was really 100% concerned with giving the fans what they want and what they expect. So he made a lot of decisions based on what are the fans going to want. And I think it showed up in the movie because the fans seem to be pretty pleased with it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We do have a question from the YouTube audience. It'll be a simple one, quick one you can answer, but they want to know how good was the visibility last week?
So I couldn't see it all. And
Her mouth was narrow.
yeah, mine was narrow. And so if the mouth was open, completely open, more than what you see in the movie, I could kind of see, but it was literally like that much. And that was it. So
My mouth was wide, so I had more visibility, but there was one scene where the mouth was closed and I had to walk about 10 feet and hit a mark. And we did it, and I'm like guessing where my mark is because I'm totally blind. And like, you missed your mark. I was like, yeah, I know, I can't see it. I go, guys, can you ask Artie? Artie Esposito was the puppeteer controlling my head and all the facial features. I said, can you ask Artie to open the mouth just a crack? He cracked it open, honestly, probably a half a centimeter. And then I go, okay, I'm good. I can see furniture, I know where my mark is, we're good.
Yeah.
But the mouth had to be open a little bit.
And the other thing too is that we had in-ear monitors, and so they would talk to us through a microphone, and we could hear it. But they wouldn't do it while we were filming, recording, because they didn't want to get that audio. But yeah, that helped a lot too.
Did you enjoy making the movie?
Oh, absolutely. 10 out of 10.
It was fun.
I'd do it again.
It was fun. It was nice that the stage was air conditioned.
Oh
as
God,
well.
yeah. In Louisiana?
Yeah, it was good.
So, what aspects of finance are pretty strong to you? Like, what are your favorite aspects from what you've seen in the games, movies, just in general?
I like the storyline, honestly. I like how it's just this guy who created this restaurant and then the animatronics and what he has done with them. I like that.
I like that. It's kind of, it's a little bit of a mystery. Like the question of, are the animatronics good or evil, right? It's a kind of muddy area. They're not good or evil. A lot of stuff happened to them, and that's why they are how they are. And the fact that they want Abby not to just be evil and. Is there a race going on?
There it is. This happens in every battle. Yeah, man, y'all go!
Go, Edison's medicine.
Brother.
So, it's kind of it's a fertile ground for acting because the characters are not. It's not black and white, good or evil. It's, well, this stuff happened to them, and that's why they're doing this. They want Abby because they're desperate for another friend to play with, but they're gonna kill her to make that happen. So it's kind of a gray area that we don't really know how to deal with, and that's a really fun place to play.
How long did it take to get into costume and how long?
Yeah, so when we first started, it took us quite a bit to actually get into the costumes.
We're figuring out how to do it.
And then because we had 4 weeks of rehearsal, and in that time frame, we got it down to maybe 5 minutes getting in.
Yeah, absolutely, 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah,
from
and then
start to finish.
And then the heads were separate, so we would spend about 25 minutes in the heads. The longest it was about 45. Is that right?
I think
One day?
48.
48?
48, because there was a timer, because
Yeah.
they had to make a report for OSHA, like how long can we be in these costumes to where it's safe? And we put 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We never got out in 15 minutes, not once.
It was about 25.
It was 20 to 48
Yeah.
is the range that we were in.
So putting the heads on took some time because the heads were fully animatronic, and controlled by the puppeteers, which were connected to batteries.
But even the head, it was like 2 or 3 minutes to go on, if that.
Yeah, if there wasn't an issue.
If there was no problems. If
Yeah.
there's problems, everything's out the window.
Yeah, so it was pretty quick, but we stayed in the lower half. So the top half that you see, like the arms and the body and the head, we would take off, and then we would just stay in our lowers.